Good morning, afternoon, or evening to you wherever and whenever you're listening. It's Henry from Football in DK, and I'm back with another exclusive interview. I'm delighted to be joined today by a player who has consistently over the past couple of years been one of my favourite players to watch in Denmark. A guy who has led his team across the country and in Europe this season. It's Randers captain Vito Hammershøy-Mistrati. And hopefully I've done justice to your name. I apologise in advance for all Danish pronunciations. But Vito, welcome to the Nordic Football Pod.
Thank you, and you did well. Actually, there's a lot of Danish people who can't even pronounce it, so I think you did well.
Thanks. So just to kick things off, I can imagine it must have been a pretty memorable last sort of 12 months for you. You know, becoming Danish Cup champions, going on this kind of adventure in Europe, and also becoming captain of the club.
Yeah, it has for sure. It's been probably, or for sure, the best year of my life and in my career. I've had some big experiences and got to play in Europe and win the cup, and a lot of Danish players don't get they don't even in the whole career they don't try to play in Europe, and they don't even win any titles. So it's been massive for me, and I'm so happy about what we did in Randers.
Yeah, I think you could see that from the pictures. You looked, really delighted with the cup, and must have been a fantastic moment. I wanted to ask, what was the experience of playing in Europe like?
It was awesome. For many of us, it was the first time playing in Europe, and we debated before the draw. We debated, do we want a tough group and get the big teams, or do we want a easier group and hopefully advance to the next round? And I was sort of in between. I would love to have played Roma or Marseille or some of these teams, but we got AZ Alkmaar, which was the biggest team in our group, and that was a big experience. But at the same time, Corona was hammering through Europe, so we didn't get the full experience with spectators, and then we had two teams, which wasn't very interesting, to be honest. It was Jablonec from Czech Republic and Cluj from Romania, but it was fun to play in another country, flying to another country to play. So I've never tried it before, and getting this theme before the game, where you stand and the camera's on you, like in the Champions League when they go through every player, was kind of funny, but the teams wasn't the most interesting. But hopefully, luckily, we won against Cluj, and we went on to the next group. But I would have liked to play some bigger teams, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you went on to play Leicester, and of course, you scored in that in that away fixture. They're a team that give top Premier League sides close games. So yeah, that was must have been a big test. It must have been a great feeling to score what was the equaliser at the time.
Yeah, it's something that I will never forget. And the sorry, the more time goes by, the bigger it gets. When I scored, I didn't realize what I did, and it was just a couple of minutes before the halftime, and when the referee whistled for halftime, I was in the locker room, and I was sort of confused. I didn't knew what I've done, and it was just a funny experience. And now when I look back at it, I am just proud of myself. and the team, of course. And of course, we got we lost 4-1, and we didn't stand a chance. But it is what it is. I mean, Leicester City is, in my opinion, top 6 team in the Premier League. They have national players in almost every position, and quality players all around. And yeah, we didn't have a chance, but it was fun. And also in Randers, we did way better, and gave them a lot of trouble. But then they have this guy Madison, who just made 2 fantastic goals, one in top bins, one in left and one in right corner, and then we lost 3-1. But
Yeah.
it was fun, and I'm really proud of what we did, and we made history. You know, it's not often that a Danish team plays against a Premier League team, and especially not at Randers. It's maybe one time every 15th year that the club gets to play in Europe.
Yeah, it was a really amazing story, and I think that you know, I think it really sort of put Danish football on the map for lots of people to sort of to have that matchup. So yeah, it was amazing. I've always wondered, you know, as a player, you talked about, you know, you get to travel to all these different places, you know, both in Denmark and across Europe. But, you know, do you ever feel like you're experiencing the places that you travel to, or are you sort of just in a hotel the whole time?
Yeah. Like I said, we were traveling while Corona was still a thing. So we were just in the hotel for the entire time while we were out in Europe. And I don't know if things would have been different. I don't think so, actually. I don't think we would have been allowed to go out and experience the city. And also, we're not there for a very long time. Let's say when we were in Leicester, we arrived at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I think. Then we had the practice at 5, and then we got back to the hotel, and then it's match day, you know, and you're just in your bed preparing for the game. So no, I wouldn't say that the teams go out and experience the countries that they are in. Yeah, we actually we also before we went into the Conference League, we were in the Europe League playoff against Galatasaray. And there we were told we were not allowed to go outside because something might happen, you know. But I don't think it was true, because we are Randers, and they didn't have any relationship with us. So I think we would have been okay.
Yeah, that ended up being quite a close game, and I think that, you know, it was obviously a very tough draw for you guys, and perhaps you can consider yourselves unlucky that you didn't get a slightly easier draw, because I think that the way you played in that tie, I think against someone else, that could have landed you in the Europa League.
Yeah, and sometimes we talk about this, actually, because I'm happy that we didn't go into Europa League, because you see some of the Danish team who's in Europa League, they have a lot of trouble, and I think if we would have been in Europa League, it would have been fun, maybe the first 2 games. But if we were in a top group, it's just to go out and lose games every time, and that would have been pretty forgettable, I think. So I'm happy that we were in the Conference League, where we actually stood a chance against the other teams.
Definitely. And the thing with some of these bigger teams is, obviously they have huge squads that they can rotate through this. I wondered, for a squad like Randers, how does your preparation change, going from, you know, 1 game a week as it was last season to 2 when you're in Europe? You know, do you have to do a different nutrition plan, or is it like more rest days? How does it work?
First of all, increased the size of the squad, or the club did, and we signed a lot of players who was meant to be in a rotation system, and so we definitely got a bigger squad, and then it was I play pretty much all the games, so for me it was really nice to play every Thursday, Sunday, because usually when you have one game a week, it's just a match day on Sundays, and then you have 5 trainings maybe, and it can be a little bit boring, and it was nice to get some new routines in my career, and yeah, it's just when you play Thursday, Sunday, it really is just resting and tactical training and resting again, and you can't really do much. It's because you have to be 100% ready for the game.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, like, one of the sort of changes that's happened through the season is you've obviously been given the captaincy since Eric Markson left. How does being captain, or how does it change your approach as a player, or does it change your approach? Do you just continue sort of being yourself, or do you make yourself more vocal and more present? Like, how's it affected your game and your approach?
Yeah, in the when I was offered the captain role, I said, well, first of all, I'm not the usual Roy Keane kind of captain. I don't really shout too much, and I'm really good socially, but I'm not like this Roy Keane kind of guy. And so first of all, I said when I was offered the role, I said to the coach, I said I would love to, but I won't change myself. And he said, of course you shouldn't. That I picked you because you are you, not because I want to change you. And but as time went by, I noticed I had started to change. I in the locker room before the games, I was more focused on the other guys and trying to get them to get in the right mind and stuff like that. And it hugely affected my own game, that I was so focused on the other guys. So in the beginning of the season, I had some really bad games, because I think it was because I had too much focus on the team and the other guys, and tried to make them ready instead of myself. So I kind of changed my approach. I also talked with a mental coach, and now I'm back at where I was before, where I really don't focus so much on the others. And it's their own job to get ready for the game. I cannot control it, so I can only focus on myself. And now I'm back in that kind of mental state where I focus on myself before the game. I do my own thing, and it's up to the own guys to make themselves ready for the game. And then I lead by my style of playing in the game. I always want the ball. I'll never give up. I'm just an important player for the team, so I'll keep doing that.
Yes, it's funny that you mentioned that. Actually, I don't know if you're if you sort of keep an eye on these kind of like stats, but I think that you lead the league in terms of winning the ball back, pressing in the attacking third. Is that
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is that part of your
really know.
Is that part of your game that you've always had, or is it something you've sort of developed in recent years?
I don't know. I mean, my teammates make fun of me whenever I do a sliding tackle, because they really don't see me as like a fighter kind of guy. But I would say I do fight a lot, and in every game, almost without the exceptions, I'm the one who run the most in the game. I don't do the most sprints, and I don't run the fastest, but I run the longest every game. So I would say I am a fighter, and even though I like to do nice passes and making goals, I try to always make sure that fighting is a top priority. And if I do that, then the other things will start building up.
I think that's a perfect approach. Lead by example.
Yeah.
You don't have to name names here, but I wondered, has there been has something stuck out in your mind as like a best or a worst way that a captain has tried to motivate you in your career?
I had a friend. He had this pep talk. He played in a lower division. I think it was a second division, and he had this pep talk where he was shouting so much that it went viral. His name is Rasmus Wiener, and then later on, I began to play with him, and he made these extraordinary pep talks before the game. In the circle, right seconds before the game's about to start. I don't know. Actually, I think maybe it's a Danish thing. I don't know, but we meet in a circle in the middle of the field and say the last words. The captain always says the last words, and he had some memorable pep talks, and that's I can maybe send it to you. It's on YouTube also, but that's probably the most that's what I remember the clearest in my mind.
That sounds good. Send it to me and I'll post it.
Yeah, you can do it. I don't remember any bad captains, really.
That's good. All positive role models.
Yeah.
I'd love to know as well how you feel like your game has changed as you've got older and matured.
Yeah, it has. I've been taking more chances in my style of playing. When I was younger, I really didn't take a lot of chances, and I always passed the ball to the nearest man, and I was sort of just there. I didn't make a difference in the game, and that's what I've really been learning and have my focus on to make a difference in the game, because I want to be there for a reason. I don't want to be just one of the guys. And that has really changed my my career since I started doing that. Because before, when I was from, I don't know, 20 to 24, 23 maybe, I was just a regular player with, okay all around player. But then I started taking chances and started to try to change the game, and since then it's been just going one way. And I think if you look at my transfer market value, it has only gone one way since 23. I think every time they updated, my value has been going up. So it's kind of funny to see.
Yeah, it's actually something that I've noticed with quite a few young players that when you watch them at an under 23 level, that if they're the sort of player who likes to take players on and very sort of skillful on the ball, I found that when they move to a more senior level, sometimes that part of the game that involves taking people on and like you say, taking a chance, sometimes that disappears because they don't want to miss the opportunity that they've got. And yeah, it feels like you sort of neutralize lots of the strengths of someone's game when as soon as you start sacrificing that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's for me, I I have always been a good kid and try to please other people. And for me, it was huge when I gave away the ball or did something that my teammates didn't like, and as time passed by, I was becoming more and more. I didn't care so much about that, and really now, if somebody says something to me, I shout right back at them and tell them to shut up. So this is also the ego you need in professional football, I think, because if you are too soft or too sweet, then you will get eaten by the other players.
Yeah,
it's a tough business that way.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like that idea of taking risks is something you sort of wish you'd done a little bit earlier in your career. But is there any advice, if you could sort of go back to yourself, age, I don't know, say 20, is there a piece of advice that you would give yourself beyond that sort of risk taking?
Yeah, it is a big moment when I realized that I need to change myself and need to focus more on myself, I would say. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, I cannot even say that I don't drink so much alcohol or don't party so much or whatever. Because I didn't really party. I was fully professional, so I did all the right things. But I think maybe my advice would be to accept that 90% of football is in the head, because so much players can do more or less the same things, but the ones who really succeed, in my opinion, are the ones who also understand football and all the mechanisms in the head. Because I've seen a lot of talented players, really talented players, who didn't quite make it because of maybe they have been experiencing some defeats in their career that they haven't tried before, or they don't get they don't know how to act in the locker room, and they get like freezed out and stuff like that. So it's really, really important that you understand all corners of a football career.
Yeah, and I guess the difficult thing with that is that some of that stuff only comes with time. So I can think of certain players who really kind of had that mental side and that maturity down. Like if I think of Cesc Fabregas, for example, he never looked like a 17-year-old playing in the Premier League. He always looked like a much more experienced player because he had that side of his game early on.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind your squad number, by the way, number 20? Like, is there a reason you picked that specifically?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. There isn't. I came to the club and I had number 7 in my previous club, and that was occupied. And I don't remember if 10 was available, but I really didn't want it anyway, so it didn't really matter. But then I was like, I think 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, something like that was available, and I just thought 20 was pretty cool. And so yeah, it started off pretty random, but now I really like 20. And then if I were to change club sometime, I would definitely go for 20 again.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's sort of grown into the number.
Really, I have.
That's quality. And yeah, you sort of hinted at that, like that you sort of need to learn, or you need to focus on all the areas outside of the pitch, the sort of the mental side of the game and the preparation. I wondered, like, outside of training and matches, do you watch football for pleasure, or are you one of these people who you do it so much of your life is spent on football that when you get away from it, you want to just disconnect?
Yeah. I would say I really don't watch a lot of football. I watch the Superliga because that I feel that's important to keep an eye on the other teams and know what's going on. And then I watch Champions League, but Champions League is more like a occasion for me and my friends to get together.
Mm.
You know, it's not like I'm sitting and analyzing the game, and but we just it's just an occasion to get together and have a good time. But other than, and then of course the Euros and the World Cups, I would watch, but Premier League and La Liga, Serie A, whatever, I really don't watch it. I mean, I like it, and if I'm in London, I would love to go to a game and watch, but I don't have a relationship with any of these teams. So I'm just kind of a casual fan who's, I would say, what is it? Liverpool United is playing this is Thursday or something.
They're playing tonight.
Is it tonight? Yeah, you see, I don't really follow, and so yeah, I wouldn't say I watch too much. Yeah,
that makes sense. And you said you watch Superliga. I'm always trying to encourage more people over here in the UK and sort of outside of Denmark to watch the Danish league. Like, from the perspective of a player, what do you think it is that makes the Superliga exciting and special?
It's a good question, really, because I would say it's kind of difficult to persuade people from other countries to watch the Superliga, but I mean, if you're because it's a local thing, kind of. Of course, you have Copenhagen, who's done, and Midtjylland, who's done a lot in Europe, but other than that, it's not often that you see teams doing well in Europe. So often it's a local thing where you follow your local team. But if I would try to convince somebody to watch Superliga, it would be this Copenhagen derby, like yesterday, Copenhagen versus Brøndby.
Yeah.
Where you have full stadium, 35,000, making a lot of noise, and the right now it's a really bad pitch, but you have some quality players in there for sure, players who can inspire and make it in top 5 leagues for sure.
Yes.
So yeah,
I seem to have been talking about pitches in the Superliga quite a lot in the past few weeks. I think it's, the surface at Parken has obviously had like lots of sand on it, and it's been poor. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about actually is that there's obviously a couple of artificial pitches in the league. Do you notice a big difference when you play on like the Nordsjælland pitch, for example? Does it sort of change how you prepare for the game? Does it affect your game? Does it affect your recovery?
The artificial grass games is by far the worst. I really don't enjoy it. The Silkeborg pitch is better than Nordsjælland pitch, but it's still artificial, and it's okay in the cold months, but I really don't enjoy it. And right now in first division, another artificial team is number 1. And I think they will go up in the Superliga. So then we have 3 artificial pitches, and that's just not good enough. I think I believe that it's that football on this level should be played on grass. And then, because I would also say we have a lot of bad pitches, and it is a difficult weather to make a good pitch in, but I would suggest that the Danish Football Federation, they make some kind of rule that the club would have to use X amount of money on the pitch, so they make sure that you have the best pitches possible.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. I think watching the derby yesterday, there were lots of players losing their footing in situations that they wouldn't normally if the pitch was in a good condition. So yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to see the standard of the pitch go up over the across the league, and I think that it makes for a better product, and it makes for better football.
It does. And it is possible. We played in Brøndby. What was it? Was it then?
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and there you had a pitch who was perfect.
Yeah.
So it is possible. It's just a matter of how much money are you willing to spend on it, I think. And of course, when we played in Leicester, it was in the middle of February, and I know they probably have a little bit better weather than we do here in Denmark, but it's not a lot. But they still have like perfect pitch. The best pitch I've ever been on, and
it looks like a carpet.
Yeah, it really does. And I think there was a game on it a couple of days before, and you could not even see. It looked like a pitch that nobody has touched for 2 months.
Amazing.
I
always see whenever I see a surface like that, I'm always desperate to have a game on them, and but I think for me it's not going to happen. But I'm glad that you had the opportunity.
Yeah, but it really is a big problem in Denmark, I think, and something should be done around it. But something should be done to change it. But of course, I cannot do anything about it.
So here's a question that that you might have an answer for, you might not. But whenever I'm in the stands for a game, I always hear people shout funny stuff, and I wondered from the pitch, what's the funniest thing you've ever heard someone shout?
Oh, I've heard a lot of things, especially when I played in the lower division, because it's like a Sunday league game where the fans or spectators, they are 1 meter away from you.
Yeah.
I've been to a place. It's called Brøndshøj. It's in right now they are, I think, maybe in 4th or 5th division. But back then they were in the second best league, and there they always had the fans. They had pretty good fans actually, but they always find one guy from the other team, and then they yell that he's fat. And even though he wasn't, they always point out one player, and then they sing about him and how fat he is for the entire game. That's probably the most the funniest thing I've heard.
Did you ever get targeted?
No.
All right.
Probably because I wasn't important enough. That was back when I was an all-round player who didn't do much.
That sounds good. I'm conscious of your time. There's just a few more questions that I wanted to ask, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I have plenty of time.
But you've obviously still got a lot to play for this season. You made it into the championship group, and has that experience that you've had in Europe, does that sort of give the squad extra motivation to try and do the same this year and try and qualify? You obviously can't qualify through the cup, but you could qualify through the league.
Yeah, it does. All of us really wants to play in Europe again, for sure, and it is a big motivation. But right now we're struggling. 2 of our key strikers is out and has been out since all of 2022, and we are struggling a bit to score goals. And I have been playing as a striker, which is okay, but I would like to be a little bit more back. And so it's tough at the moment, and at the same time we let a lot of goals in, so we're having a lot of trouble at the moment, but our motivation for playing in Europe again is huge, and hopefully Midtjylland will win the cup, because then there's another Europe spot for number 5. So if we don't make 4, then we can make 5 and still go to Europe. So, but first of all, we're just trying to win as many games as possible, so we can do it ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
But it is really tough. It's really good teams all around us, and of course it is the championship round. So it's difficult to win just one game.
Yeah, absolutely. You got 7 games left, so plenty to play for. But yeah, like you say, every game at the moment seems to have real significance to it.
Yeah. I thought the last 2 games we lost 3-0, 3-1, and I thought, okay, now it's over. We cannot do anything. But if we win today against Silkeborg, then we're 5 still. So it's close, and it's possible.
Cool. And what does the future hold for you personally? You know, would you like to sort of see out your playing days in the Superliga, or would you like to have an experience in another league at some point in the future?
I would really like to go to another league and try to play in a foreign country. I would personally, I would really love to go to South Korea or Japan or something Asian, because I think I believe it could be really fun to try and play there and try and live in these Asian countries. So that would be my dream destination, I guess, because I think I'm turning 30 this summer, and top 5 leagues shouldn't really be possible. So I try to focus on like a more adventurous countries, if you can say so.
Yeah. There's been a couple of transfers recently between Superliga and the sort of the Far Eastern leagues. I know that Groningen went from Viborg to Korea, and there were the names escape me, but the centre back from Midtjylland went to
Scholz.
Yeah, Scholz. Exactly. There you go. So
and it was the same agent who did all of those 3.
Really?
Those 3 deals, yeah. And guess who I have as an agent right now? Alan Bach is his name. So hopefully he can do something. Yeah.
Well, watch this space. Yeah, I think it'd be an amazing sort of cultural experience as much as it would be a football experience. So
I
can see why it's attractive to players.
Yeah.
Cool. And then finally, I just wanted to ask you about the more kind of mental side of the game. You're obviously under a huge amount of stress and pressure as a professional footballer. You know, you've got your sort of your performance is kind of scrutinized and on show for everyone to analyze each week. Do you have any like routines or techniques for kind of handling that stress and sort of maintaining a kind of calmness in your life?
Whenever I have a good game, I try to do the next game, especially exactly the same as I did last time.
So same breakfast, same shoes.
Like 1-to-1 day, I try to make.
Okay.
And I think a lot of football players is like that. And it doesn't really work because it's not so often that I have like 2 perfect games in a row, but I try to make give myself the same preparation for the games. And I'm a bit crazy actually, because it's everything that I try to do the same. You know, in warm up, I'm in the same place as last time, and if somebody's my place, I say go away because I need this. And it's everything. I think it's maybe a little bit unhealthy, but yeah. Other than that, I'm pretty used to being in the spotlight, and all my friends can see if I have a bad game, and I don't know. I think it's just you get used to it. And of course, when I've had a bad game, I try to stay away from all social medias and news outlets and all of that.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
sensible.
that's how I deal with that, but it doesn't affect me so much. Usually, I'm good at getting back stronger.
I think you had a run earlier in the season where you scored four games in a row. So
Yeah,
whatever you were doing over that period,
yeah,
you need
yeah.
to you need to sell that formula.
I know, but yeah, I it's tough, because I also then I put on my left shin pad first and then the right,
Yeah.
and all of this it get mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Listen, Vito, thank you so much for taking the time to talk. And it's a huge pleasure, and I'm really grateful for your time. And for someone like me who follows the league from another country, getting kind of under the skin of the league and the players and the teams and stuff is really a massive pleasure. So I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and wish you the best
Thank
of
you.
luck in the run
Thank
in
you.
and for tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Great. Well, we'll see how you get on later. So yeah, hopefully see you in Europe next season.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Cheers, Vito.
Cheers.